Hey guys, welcome back. Orabomb here, bringing you another one of our live deck profiles today. People, today we're going to be playing one of our fun, tanky, thick, super thick, mega thick decks today. We're playing Copperajah VMAX, Disruption, Stall. I guess Stall is probably the best way to put it. Copperajah VMAX Stall. I'm really excited about this deck profile. This deck was actually given to me by my buddy Gumball, whose Twitch you can find in the description. This time I'll remember. If I don't remember, then I'm just terrible at YouTube, but it's fine. I've always been terrible at YouTube. Before we get into the video, you guys know the drill. Like the video. If you like and answer the comment question of the day, you not only do you have a chance of win a couple of codes, like we do in every video. Every video you get a chance of winning a couple of codes, but more importantly, at the end of all of our Rebel Clash videos, so from our very first Rebel Clash video all the way up till the set releases, we'll be choosing one random commenter from all of those videos and giving you a booster box. Thanks to our lovely sponsors at Gartney Gaming, as always. So, comment question today is going to be, what is your preferred play style? You know, Pokemon's really fun. There's a lot of different ways to play Pokemon. You can do like the whole stall, mill, disruption styles, and those are 3 different styles, by the way. Sometimes they overlap, but they are 3 different styles. You got stall, you got mill, and you got disruption. There's also you know, combo and win, like there's setup and win, there's turbo, there is just like full offense, things like that. What is your preferred play style? Let me know in the comments down below, like we mentioned earlier. And thank you, Gumball, for the list. I'm going to be going over my experience with the deck list itself, and how I would like to improve the deck in the future, and also things he's mentioned to me. Now, I'm not the greatest stall player in the world. I don't think I've ever played a stall deck competitively. Just like here and there, I've dabbled with them. But it's been fun. I liked it a lot. So we're going to go over the Pokemon. We got Copperajah here, 220 HP, which is actually pretty good. V Pokemon, its attacks, I mean, you can hit the attacks. You're just very unlikely to use the attacks in most matchups. You can do 90 damage and then take 30 less damage from attacks, which is actually kind of relevant. Although you're not really worried about this dude. You're really worried about the VMAX, but, you know, worth knowing that those are the attacks. Weak to fire, for retreat. We have Metal Frying Pan, so weaknesses aren't too much of a worry, unless, of course, they play things like Tool Scrapper, which then we just put the tools back into our deck with Oranguru and go from there. You guys know the drill. But anyways, the VMAX boy, the thick man himself, the ugliest Pokemon in the game. Look, dude, he's just a box, bro. He's actually just a box. He's a box with a trunk that's like a little digger thing. I don't like it. I mean, look at, like, he's so angular. Look at his horns. Like, it's just such a gross Pokemon. I mean, even without the VMAX, bro, he's just a box. He's probably, I used to think Samurott was the ugliest Pokemon. This is probably the ugliest Pokemon in the game. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But anyways, since I have thoroughly triggered all the Copperajah haters, lovers, let's go over all of their stats. 340 HP, super thick. Of course, with Frying Pan and Lucario Metal, we can reduce damage by 60, which means your opponent has to hit 400 damage to OHKO you. Pretty unlikely that a lot of decks will be doing that. Its attacks, like I said, you're not going to be aiming to use the attacks, but they are possible to use. 100 damage plus 100 more damage of your opponent's basic Pokemon. Kind of relevant in some matchups for sure. And the other attack is a vanilla 240, and same stats as the previous one, same retreat, same weakness. So the end goal is, after you use your Lucario Metal, you just keep this thing active. Well, don't keep it active, but you keep this thing alive as long as possible with your Hyper Potions, Malolanas, Super Scoop Ups. You know the drill. You know the vibes. Y'all know the vibes. And we do have 4 Lucario Metal. So, quick little trivia about me. If you guys don't know, I kind of stopped collecting Pokemon cards because I was broke and I needed to sell my Pokemon cards I did collect. But there are 3 collections I keep on me right now. And they're not very good collections because I'm not super, like, they're not even close to done because I haven't gone and got me the expensive or the older cards yet. But I collect Lucario cards, I collect Togekiss cards, and I collect Latios and Latios cards, which I guess is technically like 4 cards, right? Because all of those are like my top 5 favorite Pokemon. Mew as well, but Mew cards are too expensive. And like I don't know. It is what it is. And these things, like the Mew cards are like kind of pricey, you know? But the Latios and Latios cards are kind of pricey too. I don't know. The only ones I really care about are Togekiss and Lucario, to be honest. But for whatever reason, I don't know if I accidentally sold it when I sold a bunch of my cards. I'm missing my hyper rare metal Lucario Metal, which is really upsetting. And apparently, I just don't own a regular art. So these are my buddy Steven's. So that's annoying. And then they have that gold one coming out soon, which is the one I really want. I don't know if we're getting it, but I know Japan has it. And I only collect native speaking. I shouldn't even say native speaking. I'm not from America. I'm from Morocco. But I only collect the English cards. So I didn't get me one of these. Maybe Steven will give me one, or I'll trade it for him. And then I have to find a hyper rare, or like get a new one, which is super whack. But anyways, Lucario Metal, you guys know the drill. We use it for its GX attack. Usually you just want a GX attack right away. Sometimes if you want to disrupt their energy, you can wait a turn, but usually you don't have the time to wait a turn because you usually GX attack right away and then you manually attach and then hyper potion away both energies so that you can heal up. So I know in the video I was kind of waiting because I was like, maybe I can disrupt his energies. But in this deck, I just feel like you don't really need to wait or care about waiting unless you're playing against something like fire. I don't know. I have to test different matchups for sure. But you know, you can use the attacks if you want to hit them for 50 every turn. It's actually not that bad. And then of course the other attack is 150. But the whole point is that you're a thick man with a great GX attack and metal type, and you can stall. That's the whole point. Other Pokemon we play are 2 Orangarus. We want that resource management goodness to put our resources back into our deck. And profound knowledge is a thing as well. And then, of course, 1 Girafarig. For those matchups, you just want to dump the cards. Like, it's actually kind of fun to banish Malamar Psychic Energies. It's really fun to banish, what's it called? If you're playing against skip up net decks, you can banish their supporters before they get them back, which is actually super great. Ooh, man, no pun intended. And, I think that's it. I'm trying to think of like other matchups. Like, of course, like in the mirror, you want to be banishing their resources, and not in the mirror, but like and then your opponent's playing their own mill or stall or things like that. You can banish their cards before they get them back. I'm sure there's other matchups. I'm sure Gum will talk about them in the comments. Just because I haven't played a Lost Stall, I'm not super knowledgeable, but I know enough to be all like, oh, you know, in this matchup, I can just do this, you know. But anyways, that's it for Pokemon. Gum did say, I remember there was a comment. I don't have the comment pulled up right now because my phone is off because it's too loud. Oh, no, my computer's off because it's too loud. And my phone I'm using to record, right? But I remember there was at least one comment that said he would probably drop one of the Copperajah VMAXs to put in a second recycle energy. Just because having 2 recycle energies is just really, really good, which I agree. That was one thing I was talking about in the live deck profile, or the live matchup. At least if I did in the... I either did in the live commentary or the post commentary, but I really think this deck could use 2 or even 3 recycle energies just because prizing is an issue, and of course, it's just too good of a card in this deck. You do Lucario Metal attacks for 2 colorless energies, and then you get the energies back, and just the fact that you can get the energies back consistently is great. Now for our supporters, for Steven's Resolve, we're not playing an ability, so that means we get to abuse a green engine, which is excellent in this deck. 3, count them, 3 Lusamine. Not super sure if I would like 3, but it doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt to have 3. We can play 2 Malolana just because there's a lot of because you reduce so much damage. Like you reduce 60 damage most of the time. So if your opponent hits you for less than 180, you can be fully healed off of Malolana because that 180 gets down to 120 because you're reducing by 60, and then you can heal off 120 damage from Malolana. So Dragapult does nothing to you. Dragapult can spread damage counters, which I guess like if you just let them do that for too long, it could be a problem. But like you're not gonna let that happen for too long. Fire is the really only concern if they play Tool Scrapper. A lot of Fire is probably not gonna be playing Tool Scrapper because they don't have really the deck space for it unless they really, really need to play it, which, I never know. It depends on, it really depends on the meta. Like, we'll see how the meta evolves. ADP, like a Zacian will hit you for 230, which becomes 230 becomes 170. You heal that, so now you heal 120, so now you only have 50 damage on you. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And if they hit you for like 260, you now have 80 damage on you, and then 80 plus 260 is still only 310, so it doesn't even knock out your Copperajah VMAX. Hold on, let me double check that I'm doing math right? So they hit you for 260. I'm assuming this is post GX attack from ADP, right? They hit you for 260. 260 gets reduced to 200. and then you heal 120 from that, so now you have 80 damage on you. So now they hit you for another 200, which means you're now at 280 damage. So that does actually knock out your Lucario Metal, but that's the reason why we play the Copperajah VMAX, is it doesn't knock out the Copperajah VMAX. They have to 3-hit KO you, and that's not including you land a Super Scoop Up or a Hyper Potion or anything like that, right? As far as our 1-0 supporters go, we got one Belelba to deck them out, Tate and Liza, mostly for the switching and supporter, and also shuffles draw 5s, which sometimes you can use. One Will gives you your Crushing Hammer and your Super Scoop Up some guaranteed heads, and Faba just to banish stadiums and special energies on your own time. Good disruption supporters. Oh, of course, we have 2 Bossasaurs. It's really good because we play Galar Mine in this list, which is really handy. If your opponent's playing a Jirachi engine, now the Jirachi has a 3 retreat cost, and you can, or like if your opponent is playing the whole Oranguru Super Scoop Up combo, you can actually pull up their Oranguru. It gives them like a 4 retreat cost. They have to use their switches or their Super Scoop Ups on Oranguru, which is something they usually don't want to do because that's a waste of a Scoop Up. And I also say Super Scoop Ups, I mean Scoop Up Nets. You guys know the you guys know the vibes. Y'all know the vibes. Anyway, so as far as the trainers go, we got 4 Crushing Hammer for disruption, 4 Super Scoop Ups, which once again we have the will, and sometimes you can just go for it. Like you have the free time in a lot of turns just to go for it and then shuffle them back or put them back in the deck using a Oranguru. 4 Pokédolls. Apparently I only own 3 IRL. I don't know why. I thought I had 4. Doesn't really matter. 2 Quick Balls. We have Green. We have Stevens. We don't really care about playing too many Quick Balls. 2 Frying Pans. I kind of want to bump this up to 3 just because, like, in an ideal situation, you have 1 Lucario Metal and 2 Copperajahs down on the board, right? So you can switch between the Copperajahs after your Lucario Metal goes down, but you don't want your Lucario Metal to go down, and you want to use your Super Scoop Up, and you want to make sure you have access to at least 2 throughout the game, so prizing is an issue. And then if your opponent does play Tool Scrapper, you want to make sure you at least have another one in the deck. There's a whole lot of reasons why I want to play 3 Frying Pans. It's just too good of a card not to play. It actually does make the difference between winning and losing a few games. For instance, without a Metal Frying Pan, even with Lucario Metal, your Zacians can still 2-hit KO you after like Malolana or Hyper Potion healing. So Frying Pan is kind of important for a few matchups. So that would be another card I would consider bumping up to 3. The problem is what you cut, right? There's a lot of cards in this deck that are really good that you can't really afford to cut. 2 Galar Mines, we talked about how good they are. 2 Mount Cornet, because, you know, getting our energies back is pretty good. Also, I forgot about the 4 Hyper Potions, which are all the way up here for whatever reason, but 4 Hyper Potions. Hyper Potions are great in this deck. You literally get the energies back with Mount Cornet. You Hyper Potion, heal up 120 damage, and yeah, so you either pressure. It's really interesting, right? You can pressure to either attack your opponent or you can Hyper Potion instead. It's pretty good. I like this deck a lot. I think this deck has too many options and it's too strong. I want to continue playing it against other decks, but we'll see. It's really hard to record as a video because then like I have to ask Steven to be all like, hey, do you mind if I play Stall against you for a video? How boring is that? 3 metals and 1 recycle. We do play this Stevens Resolve so we can get these energies out of the deck directly. Another card that could be interesting in here is Energy Spinner, just so that you can get it off the greens as well. There's a few options, but those are probably the biggest ones as far as this deck goes, is Energy Spinner, another Frying Pan, another Recycle Energy. The 2 easiest cuts I can think of is a 1/1 line of the Copperajah. Prizing becomes a little bit scary because it is kind of important. And in an ideal world, you do get you do get 2 Copperajah VMAXs down. Excuse me. So you are sacrificing the consistency of getting down 2 Copperajah VMAXs to play these cards, which you can argue which one is more important. But I'm sure Gumball has also done some testing. So if you see him in the comments, hey, like his comment, and you know, you can talk with him too, because I'm sure he's gonna leave some pointers down there because he's the boy. And if he doesn't, whatever, it's fine. Anyways, that's gonna be the video, guys. As far as the matchup spread goes, like I said, I feel like the Dragapult matchup is just kind of easy. Against, like, because you don't really care about attacking so much. If they are playing giant bombs, you're just gonna ignore them anyways. They're hitting you for not only reduced damage, But in the case of the Coral Metal, it's also resistance as well. So I know Copperajah VMAX does not have that metal resistance anymore, I think. They actually resist grass now. Not like that's super relevant. I guess if you can argue Rillaboom is a deck, I don't think Rillaboom's going to be a deck at all. I should probably put this boy on top. There we go. Perfect. Um, Electric decks, they only have so many electro powers, and honestly, like, how are they going to OHKO anything? Like, they actually have to spread damage somehow, or like start chipping away at you, which they can do for sure. Which means you just have to be really aggressively healing towards them until they run out of resources. But you know how it is. Um, what else is there? I'm trying to think of all the decks that I think are cool. Inteleon doesn't matter. Feels like an easy matchup for you, right? Because I always talk about Inteleon, but I feel like I'm the only person talking about Inteleon. I don't know if anybody else actually likes that deck, but I love that deck. I think it's so much fun to play. But like getting rid of their energy is kind of relevant because they can't really hyper potion ever. So you can stop them from hyper potioning, but you can't stop them from using cards like Malolana. But hitting 160 is only going to be after reduction 100 damage with 60 on the bench. 60 on the bench you can sometimes pressure them enough, but you have to have like a near perfect game plan, and like your opponent has to never land crushing hammers, which is not going to happen. And then they have access to super scoop ups. I don't know. It feels like this deck can just rock with the entire meta if your draws aren't terrible and if their Marnies aren't terrible as well, because that's a thing. Marnie and Riza Stamp is a thing that can really mess this deck up. But you play so many outs that I feel like you should be fine in most matchups anyways. That's gonna be the video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. You guys know the drills. You guys know the vibes. I gotta go because it is super late at night when I'm recording this because people in my house are finally going to sleep. And I need to go to sleep as well. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.